So I'm back. I'm back. See that? I voted. I voted. If you don't get out and vote, notice I'm saying get out the vote with no mention of who you should vote for. Okay? If you don't get out and vote, then if things go on, if something go on that you don't like, then it's like your voice don't matter because you didn't vote. So it took about an hour to vote. And of course, I didn't wear my "Let America Be America Again" hat in there because you can't wear hats, political stuff, buttons, pins, and shirts. You can't wear that to the poll. So of course, I didn't wear this inside. But um, the poll where I'm at, I'm in the sixth congressional district in South Carolina. So the lines was it was long, pretty. It was steady. It was real steady. To be honest, I haven't seen a line like that in a midterm election. So it was a long, steady line, but it went pretty fast. And um, I was able to help somebody out. Someone in there, um, the information didn't match up, young lady. So she wasn't able to vote. So I happened to see the same person when I was on my way out. I said, well, go back in and ask for a provisional ballot. They should be able to provide you with a provisional ballot, and you should still be able to get your own vote in. And they seemed appreciative of the information. So yeah, everything everything worked out okay. Um, I'm not gonna make no predictions or anything, but it was just a feel that I got because inside that one polling place we have two separate precincts voting, and I'm gonna watch. Of course, I'm here, so I'm gonna watch this thing play out tonight. I just got a feeling, a sense that it's gonna be closer than a South Carolina um, governor's race, pretty much normally is. I think it's going to be closer because things that I was hearing when I was in line, um, people was talking about turf wars. Um, we have a Volvo plant in South Carolina. We have a BMW plant. Um, we have Element plant. That's a TV, the electronics. They make TVs and stuff. Um, I think they closed down or was projected to close down because of the turf war, and I think they ended up not closing down because um, how can you have to close down, but then you make a call to Washington and then you not closing down? So even if they was gonna have to close down because of turf war and they roll something back, the confidence is still not there because you was about to get laid off over turf war. Now they decided not to close your plant, but you still ain't got that confidence. you wondering, is it gonna come back in the future? So I did hear people in the line talking about turf wars and layoffs. So um, I don't know. I'm just gonna be like the rest of America and watch it play out. The craziest thing I think was someone that's being investigated. Of course, I'm not gonna say no names. Someone was being investigated, had the biggest campaign sign out there, and they had themselves as a write-in candidate, and so that was kind of weird. But anyway, if 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 I had to make a prediction, if I had to make a prediction, all things aside, voter interference, you never know if a foreign entity is gonna mess things up because it never really properly and strongly been addressed by the party in power. So you never know about that angle. And then it's a lot of other tactics, voter suppression tactics that's going on about if your name, if it's an extra space in your name, or if it's not exactly how. I mean, like if you got an E in your name and there just happen to be a uppercase E on one of the documents, but a lowercase E on the other document, that type of little petty stuff, then you can get not be able to vote. So with the foreign entity angle and the voter suppression angle, it kind of bring the confidence down, so to speak. But those people that was in that line for both precincts, I don't think they was there out of fear about all this boogeyman scare tactic stuff. I don't think they was there for that. I just I just I just think that um I just honestly think that it's gonna be when people go in that booth this evening. I just think that they are going to decide to flip Congress totally. I just think this thing gonna break at the last minute. I think it's gonna be a wave, a real wave, because although it's some decent economic indicators, you got uncertainty about turf war. You got people mad about these tax cuts. Okay, where everybody, myself and everybody that was in that line that left work to come vote in restaurant uniforms and uh, nursing uniforms and and stuff like that. This tax cut give us an average of $20 a week. $20 a week tax relief from this bill, and the richest of the rich, they get $51,000 per household in tax relief. So you add that $20 up on average, um, middle class workers get about, on average, $960 a year tax benefit, and then the richest of the rich get $51,000 um, per household for now. And then our tax cuts will end in 2025, and then we'll pay higher taxes, the little guys, and their taxes, they'll get more of a tax break. So I think people out voting against that. I think people voting out against um, them saying that the tax cuts are not paying for themselves, and they're gonna have to look at entitlements to bring the budget down, the deficits down. I think people is out voting against that. So um, the tax cuts ain't paying for themselves. So they looking at safety net programs, and then benefits and stuff for working people. Even a lot of people that's working um, um, two jobs can still qualify for food stamps. So they're gonna be cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and what they probably do to Social Security, you can early, cause you can collect Social Security at 62 for early Social Security, and then full Social Security at 67. They probably gonna raise the age if you let them stay in power. They probably going you probably gonna be able to collect your Social Security early at 65, and then full Social Security at 70. So I think people realizing that they're gonna mess with their Social Security, mess with their Medicaid, mess with their Medicare, cut education, cut WIC, take your food stamps. I think people realize that, and I think that's why a lot of people are out voting, and I think that's why um, power is going to shift in a big way. Also, people is not working hard all their lives to go back to the days that injury or illness can cause you to go bankrupt. I don't think people want to go back to those days, because if they stay in power, they're gonna um they're gonna roll back that your um your coverage for pre-existing conditions, and even bigger than that, that no one has really touched on, is your there's no caps. Currently, there's no caps on the coverage, on the amount of coverage that you can receive. Those caps will go back in place, which means if you get an illness, and after the final bill is done, your bill is $50,000. Um, then if that cap is gone, the insurance company come in and say, "Well, we're only going to cover, let's say, 30,000 of this bill. So you're gonna have to pay your portion, your deductible, and your portion of that 30,000. But the bill is 50. That 20,000, you on your own. You have to pay that out your pocket. And how long you think it'll take you um, to pay $20,000 to the insurance company, or if the bill and your care costs 100 and they only cover 50,000, so forth and so on. They cover that first 50,000, you know, but the other 50 you on your own. So I think people are out today because they realize that, and um, of course you got some that's taking this scary caravan real serious. So of course you got some people out there that's taking this serious. But I mean that's a scare tactic because first of all, and the minority party they really not skillful with words and talking points and know how to defend themselves and flip stuff around because you want to scare America so bad about a migrant caravan, then we can turn around and say, well, we would be less fearful if you all kept your campaign promise and built this wall. So that's a failed campaign promise that folks on the other side should be out voting against them for. That's a failed campaign promise. I mean, the tax bill costs $1.5 trillion. They could have easily fully funded the wall in that bill, but they didn't. Also, they passed another spending bill back in March. It was $1.3 trillion, the biggest spending bill in the history of the United States of America. They could have easily fully funded the wall in that bill, but they didn't. So you got people want to try to make people scared. You are in charge of the whole government. The whole government. While most would agree that your policies on the border is radical, you can close the whole border down if you want to, even the legal points of entry, and don't let nobody in. You could have did that last time for the first caravan, if that's your policy. Most don't agree with you, but you could have did that first time. But you are spending millions and millions of dollars because you let them in. You got to provide food, water, shelter, staff, medicine. So you spending billions and billions of dollars letting them in, but you scaring people, saying, "Here they come, here they come." They can't come in our country, but you already let them in, paying billions and billions of dollars to take care of. So their policy is not even smart on the border. So they're just trying to make people fearful. So I think the American people going to see right through this. And I mean, it's a lot that could go wrong, but I just think that it's going to flip. I think it's going to flip totally. It's going to flip. And if it's due, if it do, then whoever's in charge, well, their feet gonna have to be held to the fire. See, that side is not being held to feet ain't being held to the fire at all. Period. So we have to stop, even if they stay in power. You all have to start holding their feet to the fire. A wall could be there. It was promised to be there. You had two really expensive bills that you could have made it be there. Could have put it there. It's not there. So y'all getting played too. So I voted. Make sure you voted. Make sure you vote, or you just don't you can't have opinion. You don't have a voice. Thank you for joining me.